We ain't found Sith.
Warning, the following podcast contains speculation, which may be confused with spoilers, although it may also contain spoilers. You have been warned.
Hello, and welcome to issue 73 of We Ain't Found Sith. I am high on Compound V, and I am also your host. My name is Eben, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Pedro.
How about that Prime Day, though?
And producer Fungus.
Mobile Fire.
There you go. Hey, but let's always remember what Prime Day is really about, and that was the day that Optimus Prime died for us in order to protect us from the evil forces of Galvatron and Unicron.
Yeah, he died for our sins.
Anyways. So welcome to issue 73 of We Ain't Found
So
Sith on this,
stupid.
this nice October week. Following what was the online version of New York Comic Con. And not a ton of news coming out that we really care about too much. I know there was some Star Trek stuff, but I know you guys aren't really big into Star Trek. I know one listener who's like really into Star Trek, but I mean, as far as I can tell, not a huge motivator for this group. The biggest thing that I would say that came out of that weekend was we got a trailer for Invincible, the comic book series now turned animated series. Pedro, you posted it in the Facebook group.
Yeet.
We are not gonna play it on the show because we know of another channel that played it and got hit with a copyright strike, and we don't want to have to go through that and then have to re-edit and then have to put the show back up. So, go to our Facebook page. You could watch it there. You can go to YouTube and just Google Invincible trailer. It'll pop up for you. But I'm excited. This is one of my favorite comic book series. Pedro, you posted the news. Is this a comic book series you're familiar with?
It's my favorite superhero comic. I don't like superhero comics. That's like my only one that I really like.
All right. And Gus, you are, judging by the expression on your face, you really don't know anything about the show, right?
No.
All right. So Invincible.
book.
Despite the title, it is not about Mark Wahlberg and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, man.
Invincible is about a teenage boy, Mark, right? If I remember.
Yep.
And his dad is a superhero by the name of Omni-Man.
Yeah.
And Mark is just kind of waiting around because his powers haven't kicked in at the beginning of the series when we first meet him. And then eventually they kick in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really all about like this teenager with a dad who's like the most famous superhero on the planet, and you know, getting his powers and kind of going through life, and what it means, and like interactions with the government and stuff like that. And it's a really well written. It's created by Robert Kirkman, who most people know from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I like to describe it as a cross breed of Spider-Man, like the Justice League, and like Dragon Ball Z. It's just all over the fucking place.
Well, and it's also really, I mean, he's, as far as powers, he's really kind of like a Superboy.
Yeah.
You know,
Superman.
flight, super strength, super fast.
But then his personality is like Peter Parker.
Yeah, it's Superboy meets Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
which
his
is
dad's
awesome.
Superman, and then you have like a whole team of them that are pretty much just the Justice League. And then their dynamic of like just the way that the story's structured is there are different planets trying to conquer Earth, and then the only two quote unquote, you can't see me, but I'm air quoting, Saiyans, which is Mark and his dad, have to fight off these other quote unquote Saiyans to protect the Earth, and every time they get close to death, they get stronger. That's like 100% Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Really, the show kind of pulls from all over the comic book universe. Like all over this place, you see characters that will remind you of like other big name characters that you know.
Yeah, I think in the trailer you see Monster Girl, which is
Yeah.
just a girl that turns into the Hulk, but like
Yeah.
she changes sex when she transforms.
Well, she just turns into a giant monster. Whether the
No,
monster
the monster's a dude. They say
is
it in
it?
the comic. Yeah, she changes sex
It's
as she
been a while since I
transforms.
remember that.
Yeah, there's this giant fucking T-Rex. It's so fucking sick. There's like an Iron Man character called what's his name? Robot, right? Is this Robot?
Robot, yeah.
Yeah, Robot.
There's I think there's like a Batman type character named Tech Jacket or something like that.
That's another Iron Man wannabe. There is no like straight detective like Batman.
I think Tech Jacket was one because he's like all in black and stuff like that. Like his suit's all black but I know that basically everywhere you look in this book, like you can see references like, oh, this is like this guy and this is like that one and all of that.
But I would argue that Robert Kirkman wrote them better than the original.
Well, Robert Kirkman's taken the tropes and then he's kind of like twisted them a little bit, you know.
Yeah. He actually gives people an end, which is amazing. That story, the comic book actually ends. It's already over.
I think that went. I have it in graphic novel form, and I think it went like 18 volumes of the graphic novel.
No, sir. I'm looking at it right here. It's 26, 25.
Was it 26?
25.
All right, I'd have to go count on my shelf, but I know I got it all the way through.
Yeah. It's really good. It's fucking really good. And like the relationships he has with his girlfriend, which is like a character who could like manifest objects with her, with like she has to transfer matter into other matter.
Yeah, she's like Invisible Woman meets Firestorm.
Firestorm.
Yeah, Firestorm. Who does like matter manipulation, can turn things from one thing to another.
Oh, okay.
By changing the atom.
I thought Firestorm was a different person. Okay, yeah, so that's exactly what it is.
Firestorm, the nuclear man.
I think there's even
costume, heads on fire.
There's even a part in the story. This is way later, so like super late in the game, but she's like all fucked up and she has nothing around her to like manipulate. So she manipulates the fucking food in her intestines into like a fucking car or some shit like that, or a house. I don't remember what it was, and it fucking almost kills her because she has to like take shit from herself to make it. It's pretty sick.
But I'm pretty excited, and it's gonna be in I don't know, is it PG-13 or like TVMA?
The trailer, yeah, for adults. The trailer is heads exploding and shit. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But it's not a kids cartoon. It is a serious cartoon. It's a stunt double for the sausage guy.
Yeah, what is he talking about? I have no idea. The sausage guy.
I'm trying to remember if there's a sausage guy in the trailer.
No.
No, we're not on The Boys yet. No, we have not gotten to Love Sausage from The Boys yet.
Okay.
We will get there in a little bit. We're just knocking out some news first. But that was like the biggest thing that I saw coming out of Comic-Con that like really like got me like oh, I'm excited for something. Other than that, it was just a lot of like the same news that we gotten over the last couple months. Then the big thing today, and this was all over the internet today, but I couldn't confirm it. The rumor is that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will be appearing in the next Spider-Man movie. This coming after Doctor Strange has already been confirmed that he will be appearing in the movie. But again, all kinds of websites reporting this. I don't recognize any of them as any major news sites. And like the big ones that I would go to confirm something like this, which would be like an IGN or like a Comic Book Resources or something along those lines. No news whatsoever on any of that. So I'm a little skeptical until I see it being reported by a major news outlet. I'm sorry. And all due respect to Dave's movie page, but I don't know who Dave is, and I don't know what his track record is. And for all I know, Dave can be saying 100% confirmed to get hits, and
Dave's
nothing's
the real
actually happened.
deal, bro. You don't know about Dave?
I don't know about Dave. Sorry. Again,
Like
Hype
him.
Beast. I know what a Hype Beast is. I don't know what the Hype Beast website is. I've never heard of them before today.
Well, Dave has his own show on Hulu, so I would suggest you watch
Oh, yeah, that's a good show.
it. Little Dicky, bro. You got to give her respect for that guy. That guy's killing it.
For real.
Look, we've been talking about it for a couple of months now. We've been talking about ever since the rumors kind of started about them doing a live action Spider-Verse.
Mhm.
And if it happens, great, wonderful. I don't know if Tobey Maguire is up for it. I don't know if Andrew Garfield wants to come back to that. Andrew Garfield
No.
might be like, "You guys recast me after 2 movies. Fuck you guys." And Tobey Maguire might just be like, "You know what? I'm too old for this shit, and I've moved on to do other things."
Or the fucking Disney check is going to change their fucking
Well,
mind.
yeah, no, we
Yeah,
don't
for
know.
real. Is Garfield doing anything else? Like, I haven't seen him in shit after Spider-Man.
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, he could be doing things in England because he is a Brit.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. He is. Fuck.
Yeah. But as far as here,
American
I don't
actors
know.
don't exist anymore. They're
Nope.
endangered species.
This is like the British invasion all over again, bro.
Oof. And I hate the Beatles, so.
Well, that was only one of them. I mean, Led Zeppelin. Come on.
That's right.
Nobody hates Led Zeppelin.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Squeeze
All
my-
I know is it has been announced that we know that Doctor Strange's work. The title is Multiverse of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Scarlet Witch will be playing a part in that.
Speaking of, I'm starting to read that book. It's really slow because I hated it in the beginning, but Louis, our former third person
Fourth?
on the show, or fourth person on the show,
Mhm.
he recommended it hard to me, so I started reading it, and it's really slow in the beginning, but it gets pretty fucking good.
Which book?
In God, Vision. I don't know if there's any other. I think it's just called Vision.
WandaVision?
Well, it's just called Vision. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the name. I think it's just called Vision. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick.
Anyways, but we know that they've announced
just Vision.
Yeah, in order, and so maybe we're checking out. I don't know, but we know that if you really want to like understand what's going to be happening with Wanda's character in Doctor Strange, you need to have seen WandaVision. So they are apparently that they are, saying, hey, the shows that we're going to be producing for Disney Plus, they are part of the cinematic universe. They will feed into it. You don't need to see them. You can still watch the movie and enjoy the movie. But if you really want to know what's going on with that character, you need to watch the series so that you're fully caught up on everything that's going on with them. So we'll see, because that's something that I wish they would have done with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it looked like they were kind of trying to do that. And then finally they went like, let Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. be its own thing. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did what it was going to do. And it doesn't really tie in except loosely. To the point where they didn't even reference the snap in the last season. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. Now
I'm actually curious for the fans listening. Write down or let us know if you guys are even interested in that anymore. Because I for one just don't really care about any of these Marvel movies anymore. But I'm actually interested in knowing if everybody's still on that hype train, because that shit was like a big deal a couple of years back. Like leading up to Endgame, that shit was humongous. Like everybody cared about that shit.
well, yeah, I mean, at that point they had spent a decade constructing this story, and everybody was interested in how it was going to end.
Yeah.
That's what I'm curious about. I'm curious if people are like hyped to see WandaVision and getting into this new phase of the Marvel universe and stuff like that.
Listen, man, they've built up enough credit with me that I'm gonna keep on watching.
I
I
think all of us here are going to
created
keep
masterpieces. Because let's be honest, they've created some good movies, but they haven't created like cinematic masterpieces that will live forever and stand the test of time.
Correct.
And that's just my opinion.
I agree with it. But I'm like I said, I'm just curious on like people's
Yeah.
You know, people's
I don't know,
hype for the
I think
upcoming shit.
I think really, and I'm not even counting the Black Widow movie among this because we know that that's kind of takes place before everything else.
Hmm.
But I think it's going to come down to that Doctor Strange movie. It's going to come down to the next installment of Guardians. It's going to come down to like what's coming next, whether they're good or not.
Yeah.
And then we'll see from there. Are they going to introduce some new characters? Obviously, obviously Black Panther 2 is not going to happen in the way that we originally thought it was going to happen.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you got to ask yourself, do you even, attempt, like you obviously you don't want to kill the legacy of Chadwick Boseman, but at a certain point, and it happens with every franchise.
Hmm.
Do you recast? I mean, hell, Iron Man did it. They went from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
know?
that's a secondary character, not the main character.
Yeah, that was a secondary character, but again, it's one of those things where you got to ask yourself at one point: is the character of Black Panther more important than the actor that plays the character?
I think the real question is that movie so legendary that you can't recast? Like, all respects to Chadwick,
I don't think
but
it has anything to do with legendary. I think it has to do with the actor and the fact that he died so young of cancer,
yeah, but I
and that
mean, no, that's
recasting him would feel,
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's not like it's a comic book movie. I don't really see, it's not like Star Wars. Star Wars I could understand because Star Wars is like a huge phenomenon. You know what I mean? But like one movie, I don't really see it. I don't see it as a problem, and I don't even think it's disrespectful either. It's just a movie because his performance in that shit will live on forever. No one's gonna take that away.
No, yeah, but it is one of those things where at a certain, it's like it's no different than replacing James Bond or any or even I mean the recastings of Peter Parker have been different because every time they've recasted Peter Parker, they've rebooted the series. And obviously, the way that the Marvel Cinematic Universe works, with the fact that it is an ongoing and continuing storyline, you don't reboot the series. You just maybe recast the role.
I kind of see it like what's his name? The original Superman,
Christopher Reeve.
Christopher Reeves,
Christopher Reeves, and then he recasted it with
Brandon
that.
Routh.
Yeah, I don't see that as a problem either.
Well,
You know
also
what I'm saying?
Brandon, that happened 20 years later, and Christopher Reeve was a paraplegic when it happened, and also he'd gotten way older and was no longer within the age range to play the character.
Right. Well, yeah,
They're not going to wait
that's my
20
point.
years for Black Panther 2.
I think they're just gonna take the story in a different direction. I don't think the franchise is gonna die. I don't think they're gonna kill. Like I don't think
They're going to
end
make
it.
they're going to make Shuri the Black Panther.
Yeah, which happens in the comic if I'm not mistaken, right?
Briefly, maybe. I don't.
Briefly.
I haven't
honestly
read
never
comics
read.
in the last decade. So.
I've never read a Black Panther comic ever, so I have no idea what happens in that storyline. But like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I don't really see it as a disrespect, but I also don't see how important, like, not important, but how popular that character is. Where like you would have to just not recast, but like change the storyline for it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know exactly how important his comic book storylines are to like the greater spectrum. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know
I got
how
an idea.
important. I don't know how important the character itself is to the Marvel Cinematic Universe storyline, but for sure, Black Panther was top 3 as far as popularity amongst fans.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, and the cultural impact that that movie made.
Exactly.
But I just had an idea. What if you recast him with John Boyega from the last 3 Star Wars movies?
Yeah, I know.
Who-
I
Who
have
is
no.
actually, he's a Brit, but he's a Brit of Nigerian descent. His dad's I think both of his parents are Nigerian.
Well, I don't think that guy wants to work for Disney anymore from all the shit. Well, no, he was talking shit about Star Wars. He wasn't talking shit about Disney.
Maybe his issues are all with with
Kathleen
Kathleen
Kennedy.
and the way they run things over there. Maybe
That's true.
Maybe you put him with Kevin Feige and everything's copacetic.
That's true. You could I don't see it. I don't see how they can't rewrite a new. I don't know if there was a second Black Panther too. I don't know. I don't know anything about that character. 0%. But or just I don't know. You know what they should do? Here's an idea. Instead of continuing the way they're doing these movies, they should just make new stories for each of their characters that don't have to connect, kind of like what DC's doing. That way you could always recast your characters and not feel, this guilt.
Well, they technically, a lot of the movies were stories that were not interconnected, and then there would be something in the underlying that happened to connect.
Right, but if you connect them at all, you would have to keep at least the two things that are connected. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't change both of them, and then eventually, if you connect everything, you can't change anything. You see what I'm saying?
But I think that's what people like about the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, that's absolutely what people. That's absolutely what people like about it.
That's what got people out of the and I guess I gotta go see Guardians because it's somehow part of this universe. And then they saw Guardians and they absolutely love Guardians.
Yep, that was me. I don't know anything about Guardians until I saw the movie.
Me either.
It's sick as fuck.
I didn't know anything about this team of Guardians of the Galaxy because when someone talks to me about Guardians of the Galaxy, I remember the old Guardians of the Galaxy book from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, with the dude with the mohawk and all that.
Yeah, with Yondu and Vance Astro and and things like that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they existed, to be honest.
Yeah, you do. It was it was the you mean okay, I know.
I knew about them a lot because of the way I was introduced to most of the Marvel Universe through trading cards. No, nobody's talking about Bruce Wayne or here.
Did you say Martha?
Yeah. That was the dumbest part of that movie.
Yeah. Which, speaking of which, I'm kind of getting a little bit over all this hype for Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League.
Oh, I'm not. I actually really want to see that.
I want to see it out of curiosity, but it's not like Zack Snyder's DC movies before Justice League were that great. I am waiting for this to be like the shit sandwich that I think it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Which other one did he make?
He made Man of Steel and he made Batman v Superman.
Okay, Batman v Superman was really bad, but he
was also involved in Wonder Woman. Basically the final third of the movie, the third of the movie that we thought sucked, the battle between Wonder Woman and Ares.
Yeah, but see, that's okay. This is my way of explaining this guy's direction. He makes super hyper fucking man movies. Like he did didn't he do 300?
No, that was that him? No, I feel like 300 was Robert. No, the guy that did Sin City. No?
Look it up, Gus. 300 director. I'm pretty sure it's Scott Snyder.
Well, Marco says he'll put Leonidas in Justice League, so maybe.
So, I think it was him, but he makes these.
All
movies
I know is
his
movies for me were super hit or miss.
Yeah, Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. So yeah, that movie was phenomenal. Why? Because it was all eggs in the fucking masculinity basket. That's it. It was just fucking hyper bro dudes, fucking just punching everybody.
Look, there's no denying the guy has a visual style that's amazing.
He also did Sin City, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like his style. I just don't like how he was trying to I thought Robert
Rodriguez did Sin City.
No, it was multiple.
Snyder. Well, I just looked it up. Snyder.
So
the original Sin City, right? The first one.
Yeah.
Because I think Sin City, the Dame to Kill For was Frank Miller.
Yeah,
Yes.
Frank Miller did the second.
He actually directed it.
Which wasn't bad, and he also directed the first one, but he was co-directing. Anyway, but I think that even in Man of Steel, I don't necessarily love that movie, but if you take the word Superman out of it, it was dope as fuck because Superman wouldn't do half of the shit that he did in that movie. But it was really cool seeing a Dragon Ball movie of two fucking Saiyans just blasting through buildings. That shit was sick as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's had nothing to do with Superman.
I would love to see a Zack Snyder Dragon Ball movie.
Hell yeah.
The only problem with a Dragon Ball movie is it would take 3 sequels for the fight to end.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. But it wouldn't be a bad movie because it would be a lot of things blowing up.
like the first movie leads up to the fight. The second movie is the fight, and then the third movie is the end of the fight.
Yeah.
In classic Dragon
Yeah.
Ball fashion.
Yeah, but
I mean,
this guy has a really cool visual style, but he's been given a lot of properties that I don't think mesh well with him.
Well,
You know?
he's his weakness when it comes to this is the story.
Yeah.
Like he's not a great storyteller. A perfect example: Sucker Punch.
Oh boy.
Sucker Punch is one of the most beautiful looking movies
Hell
I've
yeah.
ever
I
seen.
fucking love the aesthetic for that movie, but that movie is utter trash.
It has there's no story. The story is just like some weird oh, it's this and this and this, and when she
Dude,
dances,
straight up.
we all go, and then it's like,
Straight up, if
and
you
it's like,
fucking
fuck,
if you
the story makes no fucking sense.
if you told me you would give me $1 million if I could tell you the plot to that movie, I would be poor $1 million. I would not make that money. I cannot tell. I know that there was like a lobotomy somewhere in their movie. That's about
If
it.
I told you that I could give you $1 million if you explained to me the plot to that movie, you could explain to me like anything, and I'd probably believe you because I didn't understand it myself.
No, but for real, that fight scene with that girl against that metal fucking samurai shit, dope
Yeah,
as fuck.
like the
Oh, yeah.
visuals are dope as fuck.
Dope
That
as
movie,
fuck.
that movie is one of the greatest music videos ever created.
Hell yeah.
It's just,
Speaking of music videos, another thing that Zack Snyder, he made Watchmen, and the best part of that movie is the first 30 minutes of it, which ironically wasn't directed by him. It was outsourced.
well, the thing about Watchmen is at least he's kind of following the story.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you're familiar with Watchmen, you know what's going on.
Except
And
there's
then,
no
of course, he changes the ending, and
Yep.
you're like, okay. I mean, I see
Big-
what he did
big
there.
mistake. By the way, the guys at Corker Comics, shout out. They've been telling me I need to watch the HBO Watchmen show because
I told you this. I told you this a year ago.
yeah, but they didn't. You never told me why. And these guys were like, dude, it's exactly taken from the comic books. There, even the fucking squid monster is in that shit. I'm like,
I
what?
told you it was a sequel to the comics.
Yeah, but you didn't tell me the squid monster was in that shit.
Well, I
I
didn't want to spoil
automatically
anything.
assumed they threw that out the window, bro.
No, it's a sequel to the comics. Damon Lindelof wrote it as a sequel to the comics. And then he said, and I'm not doing another season because I wrote the story that I wanted to write, and maybe in a few years someone else will write a story. The problem is HBO wants to do a season 2 because it was a big hit for them. And so season 2 will probably suck.
Yeah, but that's. By the way, Gus, you're looking at us like, huh? You got to fucking read that or fucking watch that motion comic that I showed you, bro. You got to do it. It's such a good fucking story.
Anyways, we're almost a half an hour into this. We haven't gotten to the meat and potatoes of what today's episode is about.
Mario,
So I think-
no, I haven't seen Doom Patrol, by the way.
It's on my to-do list. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Doom Patrol. Is that like the little dogs?
Paw Patrol, bro.
It's Paw Patrol, but it's in Latveria,
Oh, okay.
and they all work for Doctor Doom. No, Doom Patrol. It's like it's like DC's version of like I want to say it's kind of like a weird eclectic mix because it's like a weird team of like D-list superheroes, right, Pedro?
Dude, I know nothing about Doom Patrol. I know there's like a robot dude played by like Brandon Fraser, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
Anyways, I've been meaning to check it out. It's one of those things now that I have HBO Max. I'm planning to check it out. I just haven't gotten around to it.
So
I have been watching
Patrol?
Swamp Thing.
Doom Patrol's on HBO Max.
Doom Patrol's on HBO Max. Yeah.
Isn't the Harley Quinn animated series on there too?
I think it is too. And
I gotta
I'm not
watch
100%
that.
sure.
Everybody tells me that's amazing.
But I have been watching. So apparently, so DC made a Swamp Thing season 1 for the DC streaming service, and then I guess they canceled the show because they didn't think it was good. But CW was like, "Hey, because all of our shows are delayed till 2021, and we got nothing. Like, we want to show Swamp Thing on CW." and so they're airing they're airing Swamp Thing now every Tuesday night, and I've actually been watching that.
Wait,
two episodes in.
They aired
Yeah.
a show with no teenagers.
It's no, I mean the first episode and everything, like they're blurring out, they're bleeping out words and language because
Nice.
it was made for the DC streaming service. It was made for an older audience.
Dude, I don't know about you guys, but I watched those '80s Swamp Thing movies, and I used to love those movies as a
Wasn't
kid.
there an old Swamp Thing series?
Is
Like
that
on
what I'm
USA
thinking
Network?
of? Is that what I'm thinking of?
I think so.
Yeah. Those are a Swamp Thing animated series.
Not was it? No, I saw live action.
There
Is
was
that a movie?
there was an animated series, but I remember there was a live action.
Movie.
So that's probably there's no movie, right? Or is there a movie?
No, it was a movie. I don't know if there was
Was it a
live
movie?
action.
Yeah,
I
no, you're
I
thinking of
seem
the
to
movie. You're
remember
thinking of the
USA
movie.
Network.
Nah, you're thinking of the movie. I know movie were dope as fuck when I was a kid. I used to watch that shit.
I'm on it, guys.
I remember I had the action figures to that shit. That shit was sick. I have no idea what that character was about, but he was a crazy ass green creature. Pretty cool. And he was in love with this blonde lady.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to say, like I saw the picture earlier, and I want to say Heather Locklear, but then I'm like, well, I don't think it was Heather Locklear. There's a Swamp Thing from 1982.
Movie.
There's The Return of Swamp Thing 1989.
Yeah, those are the two movies I remember.
There's Swamp Thing 1990.
That's another movie? I haven't seen that one.
So the original movie 1982. Adrienne Barbeau as Alice Cable. Louis Jordan as Arcane. So I don't even think they have like the right names on this thing. Ray Weiss is Dr. Alec Holland.
Back in the day, they couldn't get the rights to this.
Yeah.
Did you know? Fun fact.
1989. Okay, I think this is the one that I remember. 1989. It was Heather Locklear as Abby Arcane.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those movies. Fun fact. Did you guys know that in the
And yes, there was a TV series, Swamp Thing, 1990 to 1993.
Oh, wow.
72 episodes.
Nice.
And it was not an animated TV series; it was live action
On USA.
I believe it was on USA Network. That's what I remember from my childhood.
Cool.
And there was also a 1990 like Swamp Thing animated as well.
That I remember.
Yeah. So, although that one looks like it was canceled after 5 episodes, so that didn't last super long. But yeah, so we were both right. There were Swamp Thing movies, but there was also the Swamp Thing TV series.
Noise.
But yeah, but this one's been pretty dope so far. Again, I'm 2 episodes in. But right off the bat, like the first episode, we actually get to meet, Alec Holland, and we get to know him a little bit. He gets to know Abby Arcane, and then by the end of episode 1, obviously he becomes the Swamp Thing, and then episode 2 is like, okay, we get the ball rolling. We can start getting to meet some of the other characters. And
I
stuff
should
like
watch that.
So,
I don't know shit about Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing is pretty cool, man. It's like Poison Ivy, but if Poison Ivy was a dude that got like
Swamp Thing's one of the most powerful characters in the DC universe.
He controls Earth.
Really? He is connected to a force that they call the Green.
The Green?
The Green. And essentially it is like all the living plants and all of that on the planet are all connected through the Green. Mm-hmm. So basically he can control like all the plant life on Earth.
So he's Groot.
No, because Groot can't control it. He can just manifest it.
I think he just controls himself.
Yeah.
But Swamp Thing can control like there's a plant over there. He makes it bigger, makes it stretched out, makes it grab people. Like he's super powerful.
Yeah. Sick. He's sick as fuck. Yeah. But yeah, I remember that movie as a kid. Fun fact, I forgot why I was going to say this because whatever, but Batman, the original Batman movie, they didn't even have the rights to use the logo for it. They had to add like 2 spikes to the bat symbol on his chest. If you look at the
original Batman, like the Michael Keaton
didn't have the rights to use the logo. So if you look at the logo for that thing, instead of having that one tail that goes straight down, if you could pull it up on the chat, you'll see. He has 2 extra spikes on the bottom of the tail.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I don't know what that was relative to, but
I
that's
don't know
interesting
either.
information.
I
That
don't
might
know
be a
either.
trivia question when we do our trivia show. Anyways, let's get to the main topic of conversation, the one that Mario's been waiting around for.
The Bizoys.
Let's get into The Boys season 2. So when we last left our heroes, um, Huey had revived A Train. Starlight had been outed as like dating Huey. It looked like the shit had hit the fan, and everybody was barely able to escape by the skin of their teeth. When we start off the season 2,
Well, you forgot the most important part.
they're in hiding.
You forgot the most important part of how season 1 ends, bro. When you see our boy fucking
yeah.
realizes that his wife has a kid
His
with
wife is still alive, and that she has a kid. Yeah.
yeah, man.
But when we start with season 2, everybody's in hiding. Huey, Mother's Milk, Frenchie, and
Louis and Dewey.
Kimiko, right? That's what they name her.
Yeah.
I say that's what they name her because she doesn't have a name in the comic. She's just called the female. So they're in hiding. They've been hiding out because obviously they're wanted fugitives. The Seven are looking for them. We find out that Starlight is still somehow in the Seven, but things are kind of rocky. We've got A Train is having heart conditions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just things are fucked up kind of all around. We've got Homelander who is basically taken control and has decided that he's going to run the Seven. And, he's kind of at odds with Mr. Edgar, who's the CEO of VOT. And man, there's so much shit that happens this season. It's really kind of hard. Like I don't want to go break it down like episode by episode. Let's just highlights of the season.
They introduce a new character called Stormfront, who's like pretty much a
Spoiler
I guess you
alert
could.
if you haven't watched the season.
Well, obviously, but she's kind of like she's competing for the spotlight with Homelander.
Yeah.
And
she comes
so
off
like
as very pro-feminine.
right. So like this season is very again. This is a review, so if you haven't seen it, we're gonna fucking ruin it right now. It's very political, kind of like what's happening today, like in our political climate. She's apparently she was a former superhero from like the fucking 1940s.
Well, she's apparently the first of the
first one, right. So she was a Liberty before she was Stormfront, and before that she was
she was the wife of
I forget his name. He's the guy
Vought.
who created Vought.
Yeah.
And they were Nazis. So
they were Nazis.
So like, this whole thing of the reason why she's so like, she's so edgy and she's like riling up crowds and shit like that is because, it's pretty much what the Nazis did. So like they were trying to recreate that. And it's very like similar to what's happening today. I wouldn't necessarily say it's as bad as Nazis, but fucking, people getting pissed off and like riding that wave of hate, you know what I'm saying?
Well, using the internet to like fan the flames and
correct, yeah. So that's like what's happening today, and that's how it's relevant, for today's show. I don't know if that's how it is in the comic book because I haven't read that far yet.
The comic book predates like the social media era.
Yeah.
Also, Stormfront in the comic books, minor character, gender swap actually. So Stormfront is the first character we get this season who's actually a gender swap from the comics.
Really well done, though. Really
Stormfront
well done.
in the comics is a guy. He kind of looks like Superman, but has the powers of Thor. They do make that he is the original superhero, that they took his DNA in order to create Homelander. and that and then and yeah, in the comic books, he was a Nazi,
Yeah.
secretly a Nazi.
So the plot for season 2 is pretty much the boys and the one female are trying to get the one piece of information that could bring down Vought. That's like the whole
Yeah.
plot of the show. And every time they find a way to do it, something happens, and it's shown very early in the season where the first person who is going to out the Vought, her head explodes. So that's a reoccurring thing towards the end, because all of a sudden you have a bunch of them. And within this season, you find out that there's like a laboratory where they're trying to create superheroes. There's a bunch of like misfit superheroes that like aren't really,
Or just people with powers that
superhumans or whatever you want to call them. And one of them is like telekinesis. She was like super powerful, right? She
and
escapes,
just
and
blowing
that's
people up left and right.
and that's
Yeah.
that plot line isn't even tied up. She just left, and you see her walking down the street, and that's it. So like the whole thing is they're trying to figure out how they could do this, and like no one really knows who's blowing people's heads off. Which at the very end they show you, and they fucking completely tricked me, because I thought it was the guy, the dude from the church. I thought it was that guy the whole time, and then his head explodes. What? Plot twist.
Yeah. Speaking of plot twist, Mario just posted something, and I think it's safe to talk about because it does appear that the series will be taking a deviation.
Right.
So in the comics,
Hold on,
it's
because I'm reading this shit. Hold on. Go ahead.
So Gus, in the comics, it's revealed that Black Noir is a clone of Homelander.
What?
And all the shit that Homelander doesn't remember doing, but that there's like evidence of him doing it, that he thought he was going crazy. Turns out it was Black Noir who was doing it, and in order to like drive him mad. It does appear that the series will be taking a different approach. We do get at a certain point Black Noir's like mask gets kind of ripped at the bottom, revealing that he is an African American. And we know that he's being played by an African American actor.
Yeah.
So it does appear that the series will be deviating from that. But yeah, Mario, in the comics, that's how it is, and it looks like they're going to be different there. I don't know how we can signal Pedro that it's safe to come back on. Pedro, come back.
All right.
Yeah,
so I'm fucking reading that shit. I don't want to get it ruined, even though I got a big ass hint right here from Mario.
Yeah. We were saying it does appear the series will be going a different way.
Well, yeah, obviously, if Stormfront's a fucking girl, clearly they're moving in a different direction.
Stormfront not the only gender swap character this season.
Oh, who else?
Victoria Newman, the senator congresswoman.
Yo, that one was a fucking surprise, which also is a fucking plot hole, because when she's inside the fucking courthouse and blowing up everyone's head, no one noticed her eyes going white. Come on.
I think people were looking at the people exploding. You know,
that's a load of hog shit.
Listen, if some motherfucker blew up in front of you and then another motherfucker blew up like 3 feet from him, the last thing I'm doing is looking around the room to see whose eyes are turning white.
Yeah, for real.
No. That shit would have popped up somewhere, son. There's video cameras in that bitch. You think no one's gonna find that? That's a plot hole in my.
I don't know. It is what it is. But Victoria Newman, who is actually based, the writers have said they based her off of AOC.
That's pretty obvious, yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking clear as day.
But it is now becoming coming to light that this is a gender swap version of actually the vice president from the comics. The vice president, also known as Vic the Veep. Vic the Veep is a bot puppet who is placed into the vice presidency, who they are trying to get the president replaced, because Vic the Veep will, go ahead and just let Vought do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Victoria Newman, Vic, it is now coming to light. This is obviously a version of Vic the Veep. Obviously, the fact that she stops testifying means that maybe there's a connection to Vought Industries, and that maybe her fight against Vought might not be all it seems to be what's going on
Well,
there.
obviously, she's blowing up fucking people who are about to out-vote. You know.
Yeah. So again, it's just one of those things where you know we don't know exactly what's going to happen with that character. Obviously, they're doing something. Vic the Veep in the comics, very much just kind of a sack of potatoes in a suit. No character development, absolutely no. He's basically is exactly what I described him as. He's a bot puppet. But I did like, man, there was some interesting shit. I liked Lamplighter. I
Me
thought
too.
that's a cool
Isn't he Firestorm from X-Men? Isn't that the same actor?
Iceman.
Oh, Iceman. That's who it was. It was the opposite.
Yeah, Iceman from X-Men.
I thought he was one of the hobbits.
No.
I always confuse him with that guy though.
they do kind of look alike.
Yeah.
But no, he's Iceman from X-Men.
Yeah.
And
I knew
a
I
couple of other
recognized
things
him from
in there.
fucking X-Men, but I didn't know who it was. I thought they were just making an homage because he was fire. I thought he was the Pyro, whatever that character's name.
No, he was Iceman.
Yeah,
Bro,
not Val Kilmer though. Not Val Kilmer.
Not Val, not Val Kilmer. But you know what I noticed, like in season 2, because in season 1 I was trying to like figure out who each one of the superheroes was supposed to be, which is very clear. You know, you have Superman, Wonder Woman, you have the Flash, but then there's Black Noir, and I assumed in season 1 he was like Batman. No, sir, Batman is fucking Mr. Cunt himself, bro. That's Batman.
Yeah.
I made that connection in season 2 because that guy is like, he wants to take down Superman so bad.
Now, one of the things that I'm interested in finding out if they're going to do as we go forward, one of the things in the comics is when they do go to like fight these superhero teams, is the boys inject themselves with Compound V in order to give themselves superpowers in order to take on the heroes. Now, obviously, they take a version of Compound V that's temporary and that doesn't is not permanent. But I'm interested in seeing if that'll happen at some point. Like if we're gonna see a souped up Billy Butcher at some point.
That's just Judge Dredd. We already got that movie.
But yeah, man. Speaking of Billy Butcher, what a storyline for him this season.
Yeah, man.
You know, we get his kind of coming to terms. We get the fact that like, you know, finding out his wife is still alive, but finding out that you know she's the mother to a boy with powers.
You see, I like that you see vulnerability from him because season 1, you're just like, oh, okay, this guy is just an asshole, and he's just a badass asshole guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But in season 2, you see like all of his fucking vulnerabilities come out, even with his fucking daddy issues.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, and the death of his brother and all that. So I like that we got to visit that.
And his relationship with the dog, I love that. It was like it was so not Butcher, but it was Butcher. It was awesome.
I like that Huey gets some growth. I love in the final episode when he's like, I think it's time for me to stand on my own, and then she looks at him like wait, are you breaking up with me? He's like, what? No, I'm not stupid, because that is like I can't tell you how many times like on one of these CW shows, like one of these fucking superhero guys or whatever has been like, you know, it's not right for us to like we can't be together because every time that I love someone they come after like just the fact that like they break no, I'm not stupid. Of course I'm not breaking up with you. What am I, an idiot? Yeah, you know, I'm leaving the guys. like I'm not gonna. The fact that he kind of wants to kind of do things the way that he's doing it. The way that the reason why he kept Huey around is because Huey kind of is like his brother, his canary in the coal mine.
His canary, that's what he calls him. There you go.
Yeah. Well, Mother's Milk is the one that calls him that.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's your canary in the coal mine, and he kind of gets taken aback by that.
Mm-hmm.
Mother's Milk, not too much storyline. We got him pretty much since the beginning. He's just like, I love my wife and my daughter, and that's what I'm all about, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
But we get the storyline with Frenchie and Kimiko, and like the growth there. Frenchie and the guilt that he feels over the death of Mallory's grandkids, because he had to, because of his junkie buddy that was ODing, and he had to go. We get Lamplighter and how, after realizing that that what he burned were two children, like that he's got like a huge guilt over that. It's I think that's one of the things I loved, was the fact that all these superheroes have been dicks, but the fact that Lamplighter, upon realizing how heinous of a thing he did, like basically he kind of stopped, and he couldn't continue on doing, because he just felt guilty over it.
Yeah.
Because up till if Homelander had done it, that motherfucker would have just been like, fuck, whatever.
Yep.
Someone posts the meme in the fan page of the Justice League's, like it says Avengers Assemble, and then that scene where where Homelander goes to stop that Arab, I forget where it was, but it was another super villain, I guess you call it, and he kind of lasers through him and cuts cuts someone's stomach. You remember that scene where he goes ooh, and he does a little hand movement ooh, and then he just blasts him. So you see Avengers Assemble, and then that scene ooh, I'm scared, and then he's just mowing down everybody just with his eyes.
I think that was the scene from when he fantasizes about mowing down the crowd in
That's the last panel of the meme. I'm talking about the one before it is where he goes ooh. That shit was funny as fuck.
That he takes the fight serious because of the OCD he got from his dad. It's the characters get some serious storytelling this season. It was a really good storytelling season. Obviously, we get the big episode where they find the facility where they've been testing the Compound V on people.
Yeah.
And we get some shout outs there to some classic stuff. We got there's a tiny little guy who's either a version of Ant-Man or the Atom. We've got we've got a character who's actually is a character from the comics, who's called the Love Sausage, whose powers in the comics are not that, but whose powers in the show is very appropriate for the name Love Sausage.
That's a big old dick. That's what that was. MM's reaction. It was
that guy.
MM's reaction to getting choked out by a cock was the best thing in the fucking world. He was like, "Bro, was that his?" And then Frenchie's like, "Bro, be more open-minded." It was so good.
But that guy's a hentai film.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he is.
That guy would be huge in Japan. He'd be their biggest star.
That last scene, Mario just referenced it. That last scene with Homelander on the fucking skyscraper. Homelander could do whatever he wants. That was the weirdest part of the fucking whole season. I don't understand why he was doing that. But
I think that's from the comics.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I think that's something from the comics. Let's talk about Homelander for a bit. Starts off.
Hold on, before we start, I felt bad for him this season. I felt like he was being manipulated by every single person. Everybody manipulated.
We get more backstory on him. We learn that there was a nurse that he used to call his mother, and that one day he gives her a hug and snaps her spine. And that's when they decide okay, we need to make him more isolated or something. So we get to learn that this kid who he wanted love, but he never got it and stuff like that. We get to see that maybe he never really grew up. He's still very childish in his.
We got that from season 1 though.
Yeah, that's apparent with the whole milk. Fascination.
But we get more of that in this season.
Yeah.
He continues to be kind of childlike. When he
shape-shifting guy. The guy shaped into I forget what her name was from season 1. The lady who was in charge of everything in season 1.
Elizabeth Shue.
Yes.
Yeah. But when we get also
that was creepy as fuck. That scene.
Yeah, but when Stormfront, shows him affection, and he's like, "Oh, there's finally someone who's, kind of is into me."
Yeah.
And like and he wants to hang out with her, and she's like, "Oh, but I got this other stuff that I got to do," and like he gets like, like she's rejecting me too, it's very much it's a teenager. It's a teenager with a crush, and his crush is like, kind of showing that she has a crush on him too, but then like at the same time, like is like, "Oh no, but I got other things. I got to go hang out with my friends, and I can't hang out with you right now." And, you know.
Yeah, he's like a piece of shit, but I felt bad for him a lot. Like there's a lot of scenes where I'm just like, man, poor guy.
And you see all his insecurities and shit.
Yeah.
Insecurities.
Even like when he decides to like take her to meet his son.
Yeah.
And she and immediately she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be like super interested in like we want to start a family." But really, all I give a shit about is about like indoctrinating this kid into my belief system and using him to my own, to my own ends. It's one of those things. Abandonment issues.
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's that sentimental talk he has with Betty, right? That's the name of the mother.
I think so.
What's his name? Fucking. I can't call him anything besides Judge Dredd. His wife.
Yeah, Butcher's wife.
Butcher's wife. She was like, he needs a mother. You don't want him growing up. Becca, that was it. You don't want him growing up the way you were brought up, and like you could see that it, like resonates with him when she says that shit, and and he doesn't know what to do. And obviously, he ran that by Stormfront. Storm was like, hell nah, so he changed his mind.
Well, it's the age-old question, right? Like it's the question that always gets asked. It's like, what would Superman have turned into if it wasn't for the Kents?
Yeah.
Because the reason Superman is Superman is because of the way that he was raised by Jonathan and Martha.
But I think the most important thing of everything to take away from his character is the fact that Starlight, she gets him to stop everything by just saying that. Oh no, not Starlight. It was Wonder Woman, whatever her name is. Maeve told him that if he doesn't leave everybody alone, he'll release that footage of him killing the people in the plane.
That's the most important thing in the world.
Exactly. So that alone is enough for him to just stop completely, like everything, because he wants people to love him so bad. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's like the most important thing to take away from that character.
Queen Maeve has a pretty good storyline this season, also.
Sad one, bro.
Reconnecting with her ex, and then losing her over everything that's gone down. The Deep has a fun storyline.
Deep is just, I love the fact that they make him the bitch. He's like the biggest bitch. And it's just like Aquaman. Like now Aquaman is cool and whatever, but back in the day, he was such a bitch. He was just talking to water, like, fishies. Who cares?
Yeah, there you go.
But like now he's like, it's so funny that they just keep going back to it. Even like when he sees the light at the end of the tunnel, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to make my way back," and then he brings in fucking A-Train, and then A-Train ends up getting his spot. It's like, fuck, bro.
Well, because with the whole Stormfront thing, they had to get some diversity back on the team.
Yep.
Because nobody knows that Black Noir appears to be a black guy.
Yeah. Is he actually black, or I think he's an abomination. Like he's one of those.
So when we first saw it, I thought maybe he was still burned from that explosion with the soup.
Yep.
In the first episode, but then it was revealed like that week that the actor that plays him is an African American.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the character. Is he actually a black guy?
It looks like for now on the show, yes.
Because my interpretation is that he's like a Deadpool situation where he heals, but he doesn't lose the scars or whatever. He's still fucked up. You know what I mean?
It's weird because we still don't even know what his full power set is. We know he's super strong. We know he's like super fast.
I think he's a zombie. This is me. I don't know anything about the comics yet. I haven't gotten that far. But the fact that he has that little camera on him and like the president controls him and tells him what to do. I think remember Hellboy? The first Hellboy, the sand villain. Remember that guy with the knives? He's just he's like a robot controlled by somebody else. I think he's the same thing. I think he's just like a brainless drone that's just controlled by somebody. That's what I think.
Okay.
And I think his body, his actual physical form is just like.
Yeah. Well, Mario brings up in the chat that he didn't identify with any race there in that interview that's on the talk show in the show. But I mean, again, we know that a lot of the shit they say on those talk shows is all PR, and none of it is any.
Well, I mean, isn't Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen series HBO? Isn't he played by a black man as well?
But the way that they explain that is, well, that's a spoiler for that series.
Yeah, don't tell me. Fuck I don't care enough.
Essentially, the way that I will say it is, he chooses it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought they just picked it because it looked good. I was like, aesthetics, bro. That makes sense.
He chooses it out of the fact that, like, again, it's a spoiler, so I don't. But he chooses it for himself.
Okay.
It's one of those things where, like, it comes up in like episode 7 or 6, and they basically come out and it's a choice. He's still John Osterman. He was still, a white scientist working in the lab and all of that. But because of circumstances that lead up to this, he becomes an African American.
I'm gonna throw a guess out. You don't have to tell me if I'm right or wrong, but from the trailers, it seems like there's a very big racial theme to that show, and I think it has something to do with that. Just don't even answer it. I'm just
moving on. He can't help himself.
There's a big racial thing, but it goes all the way back to the comics, and it goes all the way back to the character of Hooded Justice.
All right, we're moving on. I don't want to know anything because now I'm interested. Because
now you're interested in seeing the show.
Because there's an octopus.
One of your best friends told you that you should watch the show because
you didn't tell me there's an octopus in it, bro.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You guys at the comic book store said you should watch it.
No. They told me I should watch it. I said I'm not watching anything that Alan Moore hasn't done, and he's just like, oh, it's a shame because they've picked up from where the comic books.
All right.
Even the fucking octopus is in it. I'm like, what? What? That's like my favorite thing in the story.
It is what it is, and it's a very good series. It's deserving of the Emmys that it won, and definitely worth checking out. Huh?
It won a lot of Emmys. Or it won a good amount.
It won a handful of Emmys.
Damn.
Including like Best Actress and
oh, that's right.
Writing. Yeah.
She's great, man.
She is awesome.
Yeah. So that's like the only
award for Regina King.
For sure.
So that's the only thing original Watchmen that like is relevant to Watchmen lore that actually is good.
I don't know of any of the comics.
No, all the comics are trash. I've read all of them. They're fucking awful. And this the Doomsday Clock also bad. I didn't like that shit. So maybe I'll hate this too, but I'm gonna give this one a shot because the
we are just over an hour in. Obviously, I think it's pretty straightforward that we all love The Boys.
Yeah.
We all recommend it.
I'm gonna also say,
check it out.
Also going to say,
if you're not a Prime member, find a way to check it out.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start wrapping up the show the way we've been wrapping up these shows every week now.
What did you want to say, Luke, before we get started with that?
No, I was just going to say 8 episodes is perfect to tell a coherent storyline because there's a lot of shows that are like 13, 20 episodes. 8 was more than enough for The Boys.
Yeah,
and told. Yep.
As most HBO shows are 10 episodes.
Yeah, but like the Daredevils and all that shit, that was like 18, and then the other one was 15. There was only one season that was 8, and that one was like shit. But I think 8 episodes was the perfect number.
Yeah. Anyways, I have entered here and pulled out of the crate of cards, the R2D2 bag of cards.
Ooh.
And we have pulled a pack of DC Cosmic cards.
Nice.
This is 1990. What was this year?
Wait, Mario wants to know if there's a rumor for Soldier Boy for season 3.
There is not a rumor for Soldier Boy season 3.
But he does
confirmed Soldier Boy season 3, and he will be being played by Jensen Ackles of Supernatural. What year? 1991. These are DC Cosmic cards from 1991. This collection had 10 holograms, so we'll check it out and see if we got any. Right off the bat, we got ourselves a checklist. Well, let's check it out.
Whoops.
Oh, you kicked the camera out.
My bad.
So starting right off there, we've got Silver Age Shazam.
Ah, Shazam.
These cards,
is that what Starlight? Is that the character that Starlight is supposed to be?
Shazam. I don't know.
Like superpowers wise.
Well, so Shazam is obviously magic-based superhero.
Yeah.
Pretty much very much an equivalent to Superman. Actually, in his heyday, outsold Superman.
Oh wow.
Character was extremely popular. To the point where DC Comics actually got a little jealous, and actually, I think at a certain point sued Timely because they thought the character was a little too close to Superman.
It looks like he's punching the thing in the dick.
So this set actually started off with,
or just jerking it off. No big deal.
So one of the things I love about this set is actually the first few pages of this set, this hero heritage. You actually get what I think called trifoil.
Yeah.
Which is actually you get 3 versions of each hero, showing the Golden Age, Silver Age, and then what they would call like the Modern Age version up at that point. And so you would get like the Golden Age Shazam, the Silver Age Shazam, and the Modern Age Shazam, and like the different art styles from the different eras. And one of the things I remember about these Shazam cards is when you put all 3 of them together, one of the things with Shazam, the series, has always been the 7 deadly sins. And they actually have in the background the 7 deadly sins. Although I don't know why this says hatred instead of saying like wrath.
Yeah.
And why it says selfishness instead of envy.
Well, what do you do to the 7 deadly sins? Obviously, you punch him in the dick.
There you go. Next card up, we got Vixen.
Vixen.
Vixen, cool character, can actually like take on like the powers of animals.
My girl likes her workouts.
Yeah. So it can actually get like, the strength of an elephant, the speed of a cheetah, things like that.
I love when I say a random fucking joke and it just goes, yeah. So anyways.
That one went, I'll be honest, that one went over my head. I don't know Vixen workouts. Sorry.
Oh, God.
We got great battles here. This is,
for the record, I got it, Gus.
Thank you, Lopes. Thank you.
You'll have to explain that one to me after the show. We got here Legends 1 through 6. I guess this was like a storyline. But we got here a little Guy Gardner action, some Wonder Woman. I'm gonna assume that's Barry Allen.
Why does that Green Lantern look like Doc Ock?
There's
a bunch of them.
What?
That is the 3rd Green Lantern from Earth.
Yeah, he's a dickhead.
Yeah. He looks like Doc Ock.
That was his look. It's like a Green Lantern leather jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Parasite, who is a Superman villain who basically drains like the life force out of his villains and then like takes on any powers they might have.
Kind of like a parasite.
So he kills Superman?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a artwork.
We
got here Modern Age Lex Luthor. This is Villain Heritage.
Cool.
Raven, for all our Teen Titans fans.
Yeah.
Oh, and we got Golden Age Cheetah.
Oh, cool.
So this is like the original Cheetah costume.
I rode the Cheetah roller coaster in Busch Gardens this weekend.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you went to Busch Gardens?
Yeah.
Que rico.
Nice.
Yeah, bro.
Chemo. Or Chemo. And
Chemo, tomato.
yeah. It's weird. Good comic. I mean, that's literally the spelling for chemo if you're talking about it. But it's it's comic books, so it could be chemo because that's how comic books roll.
True that. True that.
Nightshade. Not familiar with this character. Pedro, is this like a Sandman-esque villain?
No, Sandman is its own thing. It doesn't have villains or whatever.
A Nightshade dimension.
No idea who that is.
I guess a Captain Atom villain.
I don't know who Nightshade
is. It says Earth's Mightiest Heroes. So I guess she's a good guy. Sinestro.
No.
Back before he got his yellow power ring when he was still rocking the Green Lantern ring. Brainiac with a weird mustache.
I like it.
Yeah. I don't think I ever saw this look repeated in anything else. And then we got a checklist of cards. So
that's like what everything else that's included in this series.
The checklist. So checklists were like a big thing that were always included. That's how you knew, what cards you needed. So nice little trip there. I do have a full set of those. That is something that I collected back in the day when I was a kid. So just fun to run through those. And just kind of see some stuff. Obviously some characters that I don't remember, but for the most part, we got some stuff. But yeah, not a bad addition of Show Us Your Deck. Anyway,
nice.
Thank you so much to Mario for hanging out with us. Thank you for Marco for joining us for a bit as well. If you were watching us on Twitch or if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you guys for sticking with us. As always, make sure if you like what you saw, go ahead and click that subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you get told whenever we're going to be going live.
Do it.
Thank you so much to our Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, why not? We ask you this every week. The Facebook group is the place to be. We got some great content going in there. Some of our listeners who post some great things and stuff. I am seeing the topic about people who are asking about Lovecraft Country and about Raised by Wolves. I have not started Raised by Wolves. That is something that I think I'm waiting for it to finish, and then I'll just binge the whole thing. I've been watching Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, man, I gotta watch that shit. I need HBO Max, man. There's so many shows on there.
Yeah.
And I just don't have HBO right now.
We'll talk.
All right.
Then what do you call it? Just as always, follow us on all the social medias at We Ain't Found Sith. We are. I'll be honest, we're not as active on Twitter as we'd like to be, but I think that has to do more than anything with this election cycle and just the amount of negativity that's on Twitter right now, and we don't really want to wade into those waters. But we are active on Facebook. We are active from time to time on Instagram. In classic Adult Swim. Oh, the classy Brainiac. I just always remember someone get me a pair of pants from the Brainiac on Adult Swim. But again, that's gonna wrap us up, and we will see you later.